Hey, what's up guys? It's ColbyCheeZe with OnRPG, and today I'm going to be doing a impressions video of a recently released game called Hellgate London. This is a free-to-play game that was actually released as a pay-to-play back in 2008, and a new company bought it out called T3 Fun. And so now you guys can kind of experience it and run through it. So I'm going to go ahead and give you my impressions of the game and how it plays. That way you can make a decision to see if you would like to try it out. So from what I gather, the story is that when the gods created life, they also created anti-life, which in this game is an endless horde of demons, and that they finally made their way to our planet now. Unfortunately for them, we are not purged so easily. You begin the game by picking between 3 different factions, each with 2 variations of a total of 6 choices of classes to choose from. You've got the Templar, which has a Guardian and a Blade Master class. These are going to be your classes that use swords and shields and up in your face melee type damage. And then you've got the Kabbalist, which is more of your caster. There's an Evoker and a Summoner, and those are going to be the ones that cast all the different elemental spells and use the demon magic against them. And like the Evoker will actually be like more like a Necromancer, raising up minions and things like that. And then you've got a Hunter faction, which is your Engineer and Marksman. The Engineer will be able to use different bots and tools and things like that. And then your Marksman is your standard Sniper Ranger style class, and is going to be using rocket launchers and snipers and two-handed wielded pistol machine guns and all kinds of cool stuff like that, throwing out grenades and fire bombs, and overall just big mayhem. But you're gonna obviously be less protected than someone like the Guardian. Playing in the game right away, I actually noticed though that the graphics don't look that good. They're pretty bad. In fact, I turned all of the settings to max, and it still looked like the textures were set to low. So it's definitely nothing impressive about the art style or the graphics in the game, but I mean, it looks okay. It's not like it's terrible to watch. It's just not what I would really expect from games, but whatever. I mean, it was bearable. Also, there was some other things I didn't like that felt kind of clunky, such as some of the abilities that I have on the Marksman class are one that lets me crouch down in a position that shoots, or I can put it into a first-person sniper mode. But these felt really weird as well because you had to like stop moving to use it, and then there's like a cooldown, and so it's like doesn't feel really good in a combat sense because you're running around and shooting. So it tries to act like a first-person shooter game and also like a hack and slash. And I don't think they got it necessarily just right, but it is. I mean, it is okay. It's just not to the level I would like it. It just didn't really feel as smooth as it should be. The other classes, like the melee class, felt alright, and the Evoker and Summoner, those felt a little bit better. But some of the ranged abilities that required you to do more of stop and shoot action, that just didn't feel right. So as far as the questing and gameplay is concerned, you'll go and pick up different quests. The side quests are going to be marked with yellow exclamation points, and then your main quests are marked with purple. And generally, they're just visit this place, kill X monster, which is fine since the game revolves around hack and slash style mixed with some first-person shooter. And so that's pretty cool. And then you'll actually be able to decide if you want to stay in the third-person view or if you want to zoom in and go first-person. I just stayed in third-person just because it was easier to see all the monsters around me. And the zones that you're going to be fighting the monsters in, they're instance-based, so you'll be in like a little town area, and you can go into these different subway areas, which will take you to, to just different parts of the city in the Hellgate London setting or whatever. Another thing you can do is you can actually set the difficulty that you want to play in, and you can set this in right away. Like if you're familiar with Diablo 2, you would or Diablo 2, you'd have to beat the game in normal mode, and then you can go play the game through on nightmare mode. But in this one, you're able to actually immediately set the game to nightmare mode, and at level 1, you can actually kind of go through and solo some of the monsters. It's quite a bit more difficult. There's more monsters, and then they have a little bit more HP and whatnot. But you'll level up much faster, and you can get better loot this way. So that's kind of cool that you can do that, and then you can join in with some friends and go do some of the instances on nightmare mode. It'll be a little bit more of a challenge that way. Each zone has a monster counter. Like as you kill monsters, it'll count them up under your minimap, and once you reach a threshold that it'll be, you'll have like 20 kills of 60. Once it reaches that 60 number, it'll spawn this Hell Messenger, or Hell Occupation they call it, and it's just a big, strong, elite version of a monster that you have to kill, and they will drop a bunch of loot, and they're just overall tough, and they give some good experience and things like that. I kind of like this mechanic because as you're going through the zone and you're fighting monsters, you have to keep an eye on that counter. You don't want to be in the group of like 10 different monsters trying to fight them off, and then one more kill spawns this big guy, and you're like, oh crap, I'm in the middle of all these dudes. So you have to somewhat pay attention to that and make sure you're in a spot where you can run around and kite this guy around, because it's going to take you a while to kill these big guys, especially if you're a marksman and you're not really an up in your face fighter type of dude. So I'm sure it's not a big deal if you're a guardian where you can just stand inside of 10 guys or whatever, but that's just something you have to watch out for, and I thought that was kind of fun. The inventory system, the loot style is similar to Diablo 2 if you're used to that, in that the items have varying sizes that you need to manage the space for inside your inventory. The interesting thing is that you can actually break down items into components, which will then be later used for crafting upgrades and for various other recipes that you can pick up along the way. And there's actually an item that you can win from a quest, which will also be able to be bought from the item mall, which allows you to auto disassemble loot of a certain rarity. And man, this is very useful, because in this game you get all kinds of drops like all the time, especially when you kill these elite monsters, and then you can kill rare monsters, and you do these little subcategory missions, and just all kinds of loot just flying all over the place, which is cool. I mean, that's the type of thing I like about these hack and slash games, just boom, 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 loot everywhere, and you go pick it up. So that was pretty cool, and you can have that auto disassemble and pick up those little crafting items. Then you get these blueprint recipes, and you can go and craft these recipes to make certain items. Some of them are good, some of them are not that good. You just kind of find your recipes, and if you get a good one, then good deal, you get a good item out of it. As far as the gear is concerned, you have several different gear slots. You can wear rings and amulets and armor and weapons. There's 3 different weapon loadout slots, so you can actually push F1, F2, and F3 and switch between different guns that you have. So for instance, I had one rocket launcher that I would use, which was kind of like a shotgun. Essentially, it would shoot out like spider missiles and blow up a bunch of guys at the same time. And then I had a sniper rifle, which I can zoom in and kill people from range, which was a lot safer for me, but it did less overall DPS. So if I was up close, then I'll pull out perhaps this like lightning gun or a machine gun and shoot people down with that one. And so you kind of have that option to use for different situations, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then your gear can actually be upgraded in several ways. So you'll get these little mod items, and the mod items will be able to be socketed into your weapons. And generally, the weapons have different socket types, such as a battery or fuel or a ammo canister or a relic, and so you have to find the right type of socket or the right type of mod that'll fit in that socket. So some mods will give you extra, fire damage on your attacks, or they'll give you more critical chance and all kinds of different things. So you can socket those, and then later on, if you want to keep that socket or that socketed mod and put it into another item, you can actually go to a D modifier and pay some money to have a chance to unsocket it. There is a chance that it will be destroyed as well, but that's just something you have to worry about. You also have the option to upgrade your item to give it a little bit more damage and whatnot, and that takes various amounts of broken down items, which you'll be able to break down the items from your inventory, of course, like I said, and you can pay for those upgrades by using those items, and then you can actually use some of those components to upgrade your items to add like a legendary item stat, or a like a green item stat or a rare item stat, depending on how much money you want to spend on that. So there's all kinds of different options for upgrading your gear, and so that's pretty cool to play around with as well. And as far as your abilities are concerned, there's actually 3 different trees of abilities for each class, and you should actually be familiar with this if you're a fan of Diablo 2, where as you go down in the trees, you can either level up like a low level ability several times, and most of the abilities will actually give you bonuses to future abilities. So for instance, I have a grenade ability that I can level up, and if I put more points into it, it adds just a tiny bit more damage to that actual ability, but the best part is that it'll add more damage to other grenade abilities. And then like my next grenade ability, which is like a fusion grenade, I can put points into that, and it'll actually add more fusion damage to all of my fusion based attacks. Other than that, the skills are used just like any kind of MMO style game. You drag the skill to your skill bar, and then you push the button, and it will cast that ability. The abilities are all basically skill shot though, so it's not like, hey, I'm going to click on the monster and then push the button and it's going to shoot him. Everything in this game is skill shot based, and then so even like your casters, which shoot out, you know, bolts of magic, you have one, for instance, that will shoot it out, but as it goes longer range, the bolt actually splits into multiple bolts and then dissipates as it goes farther away, so it's harder to shoot and hit things from long range. You have to be at a certain range for it to be most effective. So that's kind of cool that you have to position yourself correctly and run around and things of that nature. So overall, my thoughts on the game, I mean, I had fun playing it, and I really enjoyed the various classes and trying them out. Like I said in other videos, this is my favorite type of game, these hack and slash games. So I would definitely say that for a free-to-play game, it's worth checking out if you can stand all the, you know, graphical issues and a couple of bugs here and there. It's definitely not like a top-notch game. I wouldn't recommend it over some other hack and slash games out there. But if you are looking for something to play in this genre, I would definitely check out Hellgate London, as it did provide me a little bit of fun, and your friends can jump in there and play around with you, and that's probably going to give you the most enjoyment out of the game. So anyhow, if you want to learn more about the game, be sure to check out OnRPG.com, or you can go check it out and discuss it on our boards at OnRPG.com/boards. Other than that, subscribe up top. I've got more coverage in the future coming for you guys on various games. This is ColbyCheeZe. Peace out.